Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to the next character on this series of videos talking about various Newcomer ideas for the Smash Bros. Game that's going to be on Nintendo Switch. We talked about 46 numerous characters so far, ranging from Isabelle, who was the last character just mentioned, and Bomberman, and Rex, to Rayman, and Min Min, and Captain Toad of all people, various Nintendo characters, various third-party characters, various retro characters, numerous characters so far, and we're continuing that list and going on with character number 47 from Ninja Gaiden, Ryu Hayabusa. So, before I get further any ado, and before this video goes on too long, 3 separate categories. Why does the character make sense to be in Smash Bros.? Moveset ideas I could think of for the character, and the percentage chance I could see him getting in the game. So why should Ninja Gaiden get a rep? Why should Ryu Hayabusa be eligible for a third-party representation as a character in the upcoming Smash Bros. Game, or in Smash Bros. In general? Well, first and foremost, a major reason is he and his franchise are a classic third-party franchise, classic third-party character with close ties to Nintendo. There's been Ninja Gaiden games on Nintendo dating all the way back to the NES. There was 3 games on the original Nintendo. There was a game or 2 on the Super Nintendo. Yeah, I think the GameCube got something, I believe. I mean, there's been handheld versions of the games. They've been porting games left and right. They had the Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge on the Wii U in recent memory. It's a third party that's super close to Nintendo. Well, old school wise and recent wise with that game on the Wii U, which was one of its launch titles. And people were shocked to see Ninja Gaiden return to Nintendo years ago with the Wii U. And at any moment, they could bring another Ninja Gaiden game out to Nintendo. It has such close ties. Tecmo would probably bring a new one out to the Switch. I am almost guaranteeing at some point in the Switch's life we're going to get some sort of Ninja Gaiden game. So it's a close ties to Nintendo type of thing. Like many NES games and Super Nintendo games, Ninja Gaiden Razor's Edge, and so on and so forth. There's been numerous games. That's one of the other major reasons. It's a game series that's had numerous games since the 80s on Nintendo platforms. Even though it's jumped over to PlayStation, jumped over to Xbox, it's had numerous Nintendo things. I'm not just talking about in the past, but in recent memory too. Like I mentioned, Ninja Gaiden 3 on the Wii U. And he is also, this is the third category. The first one was basically it's a classic third party to Nintendo, and the second one is there's many games on Nintendo, both old school on NES and Super Nintendo, and the recent one being Ninja Gaiden 3. And then the third category is he's in the same boat as Mega Man, and Mega Man made it into Smash Bros. Already. Mega Man is a classic video game character, historical, iconic. Everyone can see a picture of Mega Man and pretty much know who he is. He's almost in the same boat. Ryu Hayabusa has like a unique look to him, a unique design, and regardless if you go with his old school design or his recent new design from the new trilogy of games, he is an iconic video game character. People do know who he is. Maybe not as much as like Mega Man or a Simon Belmont or Pac-Man or Mario or Link or certain other third-party characters or Nintendo characters. But he has a unique, distinct look that long-time gamers know, and even recent gamers know who he is because the game series is still relevant. He's in the same boat as Mega Man. If Mega Man made it in with such close ties and historical status as he has, with Nintendo, why can't Ryu Hayabusa? Why can't Ninja Gaiden get a rep? It's a long-standing franchise since the 80s. It's one of the most classic video game franchises of all time, except unless you're going way back to like Atari and ColecoVision and television and whatnot. But if you're going back to like the 80s era during like this, Sega versus Nintendo original, like the original Nintendo, and then Sega coming into the mix, and the Sega Genesis for Super Nintendo and whatnot. He's from that same time frame as Simon Belmont or Mario or Link or Mega Man or Pac-Man and whatnot. And I think he is that recognizable to deserve a space in. He's recognizable. He's in the same boat as Mega Man because he's iconic and a long-standing history with Nintendo. Many games on Nintendo, not just back on the NES and Super Nintendo, but recently with Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge on the Wii U. So he is still relevant to Nintendo. Moveset ideas now. Now, I've played the Ninja Gaiden games. Not every single one of them, but I've played some of them. I've played Razor's Edge on the Wii U. The game is hard as hell. I've never been able to beat it yet. I've played the original, and I have in that original remake that came out on the Xbox. I played it on the PS3, and I think I remember seeing some stuff from 2 and 3. I never got to play any of the other NES ones or the Super Nintendo one or whatnot, and I don't know what other games are in the series, but I recall playing another game or two. I have history with the series, but I'm not super familiar with the Ryu Hayabusa character and all of his abilities, so I had to do a little bit of research on this. His smash attacks would all basically be, for the most part, his dragon sword. That's basically the sword right here. He is a ninja. He has the true dragon sword. He's very agile, ninja-like, stealthy, climbing on walls and stuff like that. You probably introduce that into his moveset entirely. And he will slice his sword like a ninja, stealth-like, and maybe you can sneak up on opponents with some sort of sword techniques, kind of like how Snake could do CQC type stuff. Maybe you can sneak up and do a sword slash or something to characters. But he's not just a sword user. He knows hand-to-hand combat too. He's trained in hand-to-hand combat, so he'd be able to do punches and kicks as well. So he's not going to be a straight-up sword user with his dragon sword in terms of smash attacks. But he will also be able to do hand-to-hand punches and kicks as well because he's trained to fight without his sword as well. So you kind of have to mix his smash attacks in and out between his sword and between up-close hand-to-hand combat. That differentiates him enough that he's not solely sword-based in his smash attacks. He has some hand-to-hand combat as well. Now, in terms of his special attacks, he has numerous abilities throughout his game, numerous items he could use, numerous powers he can use. He's like part of the Dragon Clan. He knows all these magical abilities, all these magical powers. If you played the franchise, you can see all the crap he could do. And try to condense it down to a couple for a moveset is a little bit hard, and maybe you can choose different abilities from his games instead of the ones I picked. But the ones I picked, he does a Thunderclap kick, which is basically a thunder kick. So he'll be able to do some kicks that do thunder-based damage. I'd rather focus that on his specials rather than inside his smash attacks with the sword, the dragon sword. He can do fire wheels, and he can shoot them upwards. So it's a ranged attack upwards. He can throw like fire wheel magic upwards, so he has an upwards attack if anyone's overhead above him. And also he can do an inferno type fire magic where he gets engulfed in flames. They surround him, so it's like a shield, as well as you could walk into opponents and set them on fire kind of thing. He does the hurricane, which basically he creates a twister going forward. So maybe you can twist, like send the twister forward, it hits the opponent, sends him flying back, whirling back, some damage, and at least creates a distance between you and the opponent. He can do a doppelganger, which creates a shadow clone version of himself to come in and help attack. So maybe don't overdo it because that'll be super OP, but try to give him some ways that he can create a second version of himself, and you can do a double sword slash or something like that. He does do nunchaku and shurikens, so he could do long-range shuriken throws. That would be his ranged attack, as well as obviously the fire wheels going upwards. The forwards and backwards can be basically shurikens. And he can do nunchaku attacks, which would be, and a special attack is a minor thing, not to overtake like his sword, because I want the smash attacks all to be basically sword and hand-to-hand combat. And he can throw smoke bombs, which will probably slow down opponents, and at least cause a distance of, like, if you throw it down above you, you could create like a confusion, and it'll be distracting for the opponent where to move to. And that's basically kind of what. And he also can use a bow and arrow. He can use a bow and arrow, and he can just use random normal shots. But if you charge it up, he can use explosive arrows, so they can blow up and hit opponents. So I'm going to say that too. So that's various things you go with. I'm not saying use all of them for his moveset, but they're different ideas. The fire wheel, the inferno, the doppelganger, the hurricane, twister throw, nunchaku, shurikens, which are chargeable, a bow, which is chargeable for explosive arrows. He can. It's interesting, to say the least, what the abilities he can basically do, and thunderclap kick as well. Now, in terms of a final smash, I want to go and, like, a lot of the stuff I did mention so far is kind of inspired by both the old school Ryu Hayabusa from the original games back on the NES and Super Nintendo, as well as his new rendition since the series got rebooted with the Xbox, PlayStation, Wii U, and whatnot, the new trilogy. His final smash is going to be entirely based off of something they've added since the new games. And it's the Grip of Murder, which I'm assuming with Smash Brothers, they would change the name a little bit. But it's if you have not noticed in the newer games, he has like a cursed arm that's all like glowing red and demonic and evil now. He has a demonic arm. So I'd say focus on that. His cursed arm will start glowing red, and he'll do double, triple damage depending on attack. So it's like an attack enhanced final smash where you do double, triple damage, and the more damage you do to opponent, you can send them flying off the stage in explosions and deadly demonic blood-based explosion attacks. I'm sure with Nintendo they probably would change the name from Grip of Murder, but it'll be the same thing. Demonic arm glows, gives you double, triple damage. You do double combos, triple combos, beat people up, get into 100% damage instead of flying off the stage with explosive, bloody-based attacks. There you go. And that's it for Ryu Hayabusa's moveset. The Dragon Sword and hand-to-hand combat for smash attacks, various different abilities and magic stuff he can use and do for his special attacks, such as the Thunderclap kick, the Fire Wheels, throwing, shurikens, nunchakus, a bow and arrow, doppelganger type stuff. And the final smash would be the Grip of Murder. Now, in terms of percentage chance, third category, I could see him actually getting in. He's not the very most likely third party right now, but he's not like one of the least likely third parties as well. He's like in that middle category. I throw him in the same category with the likes of like Travis Touchdown and maybe like other various third parties in that same category. Like, he's not a Bomberman, he's not a Simon Belmont, he's not a Rayman or Crash Bandicoot. He's in the same camp kind of as Travis Touchdown, a little bit below like Shantae and Shovel Knight type of thing. Like, he's not the most likely third party, but he's still very more likely than a lot of like the more off the wall third parties people would probably ask for, like Doom Guy, which is not super off the wall really to begin with. He is kind of possible, or BJ Blazkowicz, or a Dark Souls character, or some character that's just the most random inclusion that doesn't really have too close ties to Nintendo. I'm going to give him a 75% chance. It's not the highest percent chance. It's not even putting him in the category with Shantae and Shovel Knight, which I think are really more close to Nintendo currently right now because of how much they're pushing indie games. But he's in that same camp as like Travis Touchdown, who's now returned with Travis Strikes Back, has history with Nintendo, less so than Ryu Hayabusa, but still very possible. He's not at Bomberman level or Simon Belmont level or Crash Bandicoot level, Rayman and whatnot, but he's in the same camp as Travis Touchdown, a little bit below Shantae and Shovel Knight, and higher up than more off-the-wall third parties. That's all I'm going to give him. Like, it can happen, it's just not likely it's going to happen. But we all could be surprised because Sakurai has pulled some random crap on us before. But that's it for Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden. I hope you guys like this video. Put in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys want to see Ryu Hayabusa? What reasons would you think he makes sense again? What about my reasons? Do you agree with him, disagree with him? My moveset ideas, what movesets would you give him? Is 75% chance too high, too low? What would you say, about Ryu Hayabusa for Smash Brothers? Because I see it's possible. I just don't think he's the number one top choice third party that I potentially would pick. There's other ones that are more likely than him right now, especially because we don't know the future of the Ninja Gaiden series, at least on Nintendo. So other third parties are closer tied to Nintendo. They're more getting games now, still with them in the future. They're probably more likely, but anything can happen. And that's it for Ryu Hayabusa, character number 47. Hope you guys like this video. Put in the comment section what you guys think and whatnot. My name is Sniper. Peace. Please subscribe if you want to. Have a lovely day. And stay tuned for character number 48 when we jump into a fighting game franchise character, King of Fighters, with Rock Howard. See you all.